One of the things I want to talk about today is how exhausting it can be to keep working when you're done. I am past legal retirement age, but not at my full retirement age. So even though I would love to be able to retire, financially I can't. And so that's a very exhausting place, I think, for myself as well as for a lot of other people. When there's that gap between emotionally being done, but financially not being able to stop or to quit working, and the amount of energy that it takes to keep doing that can be exhausting sometimes and can leave us feeling depleted and overwhelmed and confused and angry and resentful and all those other kinds of really difficult feelings. And again, I know I'm not the only one, but sometimes I think about those things, right? Like, oh my God, I don't want to keep working, and yet I have to. Um, I, like many others, have bills, obligations, things that I have to do, and don't have a um, final plan yet. Of my plan hasn't come together yet, let me put it that way, of when I'm going to be able to stop and where I need to get to. There are things that I need to get done and things that I need to accomplish before I know that I can stop. But the gap between wanting to stop and not being able to is, for me, been a place of much frustration and angst and dissatisfaction. Again, I don't think I'm the only one that feels that way. But I'd love to hear from other people that have experienced something similar and how you're getting through it. But that's just something that I've kind of been thinking about. Um, and the other thing, along with that first thing, is sometimes it's not the work itself that can be so draining and exhausting. It's what the work takes from you. Again, the amount of emotional and mental energy that it takes sometimes to keep doing work that you're really done doing, whatever that work happens to be, or working at all, right? Um, it takes a lot from you. It takes a lot. Well, I'll speak for myself. It takes a lot from me. Um, it takes away my enthusiasm sometimes. I think it takes away my enthusiasm for life, because life feels like it's just monotonous sometimes when you get up and you have to do the things that you have to do, not the things that you want to do. And you see that gap and you feel like you're so close. I was walking the other day and I kind of got this image in my head that it's almost like that carrot that's being dangled out in front of you. Some of you folks who might be seeing this that are younger may not understand that, but the folks who are my age or older will understand it. That it's like you can see it and you can almost reach it, but it's not quite there, and you just keep running thinking, well, now you know you're not going to catch it, right? You know that's just an illusion that you're ever be able to really get the carrot, but you know that you have to keep trying, you have to keep moving, and that can take a lot of, like I said, mental and emotional energy. um, and it takes a lot more time, energy, patience than it used to be able to do that. And especially when you think you're getting near retirement and things come up, unexpected things that you didn't see coming, things that were outside of your control, that kind of take that dream away from you or rob you of that dream, whether it be a death that you've experienced, financial hardships that came in unexpectedly, medical conditions that come in, natural disasters that have come in. you know um, Thinking about all of that, like, you think you've worked really hard and you saved and you've reached your goal, right? You've reached your goal, and then something happens, life shows up in a difficult and challenging way, and it takes away what you thought you were going to have. That takes quite a bit of energy to work through that and to get to the other side of that. And there's grief involved in that, and there's sadness, and there's anger, and there's resentment, and there's all these kinds of difficult feelings that can really bring you down. And so I believe it's really important to have people in your life that you can talk to about that, to have those kinds of connections, people that say, I understand, I get it, and I'm here to support you in any way that I can. That doesn't change the situation. It does not change the situation, but it does help us feel like we're not alone. As the saying goes, pain shared is pain lessened. And so it's the human condition, right? We all are more alike than we are different. And just being able to reach out to someone and to talk through those feelings and to get that support and to get that understanding and to get that encouragement is sometimes the little things that we need to keep going, to keep moving forward one more step, and believing that it can happen. Which kind of leads me to the third thing, right? Um, you can be grateful to have work and still resent needing it, right? I'm grateful that I do have the capability to continue to work, that I have a lot of great things about my work and about what I do. I'm able to work remotely from my home, and I love that, and that's great. A lot of people don't have that option. I love that option. Has its there's some downsides to it, right? There's plus and minus to everything, and I am grateful for it, but I still resent having to do it. I still resent living in a economic social environment that requires that of me, right? I was thinking about that the other day. Why do so many of us spend most of our life working but not able to enjoy the lives that we're leading, right? And I think that's part of why I agreed to do this YouTube challenge. Why I decided to do this YouTube challenge was to push myself outside of my comfort zone and to think about, is there something else that I can create in my life that I can find satisfaction with and transition when I'm done working. Can I use my experience, my wisdom to help encourage, guide, and maybe just be a presence for someone else, right? And what it would be a way to do that. And so, I thought about the YouTube thing because I do think I have a lot of wisdom. I've been through a lot. You don't get to be the age that I am without having gone through some things, right? And having to learn a little bit about life. And maybe somebody who's younger than me, even, 20, 30, 40 years younger than me, right? Might need that wisdom, might need that different perspective, because you can only see things from the place where you are. It, you can only see things from your own eyes. You can try to see it from somebody else's perspective, of course, but until you've really kind of walked in their shoes, you don't know exactly. You can empathize, you can sympathize, you can be supportive, but you can't know what the experience is like for that individual if you never really had that experience. Now, that's not to say that you can't be helpful to them or them to you, but there is something, I think, a little bit different when you've walked that path, so to speak. So those are just kind of some of the things that I've been thinking about a little bit, and where I'm at this point in my life. And I've been a hard worker my whole life. That's just kind of who I am and how I'm made. I'm not asking for a life that doesn't have any responsibility to it. I'm not naive to believe that that's possible. I'm just asking for a little bit more choice over how I spend the time that I have left here on this planet in this lifetime. I would just like a little bit more choice. I would like for it not to be survival or obligation or, doing things out of a place of fear. And I'm not there yet. I'm still trying to navigate all of this and figure it out. And again, I know I'm not the only one. And so I'd like to hear from other people how you're navigating this, how you're um, navigating the ending, I think, of when you're done. Internally, you're done, but externally, your world says, nope, nope, you're not quite done yet. And so, how do you live in that gap? How do you live in the tension and the discomfort of that? I've shared with you a little bit about how I do it. One of the things that I have to do is do things that nurture my spirit, right? And for me, it's always being outside, hiking, trying to pursue other interests. I'm not always great about that, quite honestly. I really have had to kind of push myself over the last 6 to 12 months to really get outside of my comfort zone, because I've spent so much of the last few years in a place of solitude and healing. And that's been really necessary. But because that's been where I have been, I haven't had a lot of energy to devote to creating what comes next, right? I believe that I'm going to be okay. I mean, I really do believe that deep in my soul. And why do I believe that so much is because my prior life experience shows me that, right? But I don't just want to be okay. I want to be able to create a life that I love and that I'm happy about and that I wake up joyous about living. And I'm not there yet. Ugh. And it's frustrating and it's disheartening sometimes. And uh, it can really, I can really be dissatisfied because of that. And a lot of times then my head gets in and starts talking to me and talking to me and talking to me. And then that can just make it worse. But if I can talk to somebody else and get some of that out and get a different perspective, then I feel a little bit of the ease and the comfort and, making sure that I do things to try and find a little bit more balance. But I want to know from you, if you're watching this video, if you've made it this far, tell me a little bit about how you've managed that gap, what you've built in the in-between place that has been helpful to you, and what kind of suggestions that you might have for others. So let me know. Thanks.